Now, of course, the movie world is all abuzz that Avatar 2 is allegedly, finally, coming out. And a part of that coming out is that they are re-releasing the original Avatar remastered in 4K, HDR, even a little bit of high frame rate, all that kind of magical goodness. And they've started to release some trailers for it and all that kind of stuff. And it's just going to pad its lead over Endgame as the biggest movie of all time when it does. But here's something interesting. James Cameron, good Canadian kid, by the way, was recently being interviewed about like the original Avatar. And apparently Fox Studios, before Avatar came out, went back to him with notes saying number one, they wanted the movie shortened. And number two, they thought a lot of the flying sequences were unnecessary. And they wanted him to remove them. Well, James Cameron, James Cameron, who at the time was the maker of the number one box office movie of all time at that time, which was Titanic, he had an interesting response to them. This comes from the folks at Variety. James Cameron revealed in a recent interview with the New York Times that he shut down 20th Century Fox executives when they tried to battle him over key sequences in Avatar. Cameron rejected the studio's notes to make the film shorter and trim the movie's flying sequences by telling the executives that he directed Titanic and thus paid for a large portion of 20th Century Fox Studios' lot. The Cameron goes on to say, "I think I felt at the time that we clashed over certain things," Cameron said. "For example, the studio felt the film should be shorter and that there was too much flying around on the Ikran, which the humans call banshees. Well, it turns out that that's what the audience loved the most in terms of our exit polling and data gathering. And that's a place where I just drew a line in the sand and said, you know what? I made Titanic. This building that we're meeting in right now, this new $500 million complex in your lot, yeah, Titanic paid for that. So I get to do this." Now he softens up a little bit in his next paragraph. He says, and afterwards they thanked me, Cameron said, "I feel that my job is to protect the studio's investment, often against their own judgment. But as long as I protect their investment, all is forgiven." So, wow, you want to talk about some brass ones. Fox comes to Cameron and says, "You got to cut this, you got to cut this." And he says, "Yeah, you know the biggest film of all time? Yeah, I made that. You know this new fancy building you're sitting in? Yeah, I paid for that, so I get to do this." And it's just, now look, it should be pointed out, because there are going to be some people right now, they're going to be saying, more directors should do that. Yeah, no. Because exactly of what James Cameron said. He was the creator of, at that time, the biggest box office film in history. He was bankrolling the studio at that time. There are very, very, very few directors ever in history who have been in a position of leverage like James Cameron was at that time. And then even more so when his biggest film of all time, Titanic, got beat by his new biggest film of all time, Avatar. And so I don't think you can hear, and we're going to hear stories of other directors really doing that. Maybe somebody with the last name Spielberg, maybe?
Who's that?
Yeah, I've never heard of him. Some Jewish kid coming out
today.
of he's an up-and-comer. He's got a bright future, this one. Maybe, but still it is kind of funny hearing this story about it. Anyway, Rob, you hear this story. What do you take away from it?
Well, first of all, I love James Cameron. God bless the man. But, I think it shows there's this conventional wisdom in Hollywood that, especially at the executive level, if they don't understand sense of wonder. And I think that the flying scenes in Avatar, especially when Jake Sully first gets on one of those banshees, that sequence truly inspires a sense of wonder. And when you see it in IMAX 3D, it was absolutely jaw-dropping. Because, first of all, the shots, the effects are insane. But, we've always dreamt of flying. And those sequences when he's flying with Neytiri, next to her. It's a courtship ritual. It's romantic. It's exciting.
It's visually stunning.
It's one of the most stunning effect sequences ever. And yeah, does it last a long time? It does. But if you're a member of the audience that's seeing this for the first time and is not a jaded studio exec that's looked through various cuts of this movie, there is a true sense of wonder in that scene that cinema has not created many times in its past. And I'm really looking forward. Dude, I'm going this weekend. I'm going to see Avatar. I got tickets to go see it at Universal, to see it in IMAX again, because specifically for that sequence, because it's always elicited joy, a certain joie de vivre in me. And Cameron was right in this case. Look, sometimes, like you said, filmmakers are in collaboration with the studio. It is a collaborative effort. You need to be working with, if you've got great execs, it's a collaborative medium, just like it is when you're making the film, because the studio is going to release the movie. They have to be happy with it too.
Yeah. And it's their money.
It's their money. So it is. And normally, look, but sometimes when you're Cameron, you know better. Like, everybody bets against the man. They're always betting against him.
Every time.
The audience is betting against him now. You know, and it's never bet against Jimmy
as a matter of fact, I just saw somebody in our live chat saying maximum Avatar 2 makes $500 million. Max.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. Everybody is in.
They're like 22.
Betting. Yeah, everybody's in the betting against James Cameron business. And the win record of betting against James Cameron is approximately 0% at this point. Anyway, Chris, you read the story. What stands out to you?
Oh, man. I mean, there's a difference between being conceited and knowing when you're the best. It's a very fine line, and James is towing it. But I do think that is part of the collaborative process, too, is when you get to say, no, this is what works. Let me do this. We'll try to meet in the middle on a few other things, but this is something that needs to stay in here. Because piggybacking off of what Rob was saying, there was so much showing instead of telling in that moment, right? You see how Jake Sully is not only just falling in love with one woman, but with an entire people, with an entire culture and ideology.
100%.
And you don't have that if you nix those flying scenes. And obviously they're magical as hell. That's the stuff everyone talks about. That's why there's rides at Disney about them. I mean, they're gorgeous. So I'm glad he said the softer statement afterwards.
Yeah, it's my job to protect their investment.
And I think that's probably the better way to go about it. But I also understand having a moment of, I know what I'm doing, so let me just do my job.
Also, to say that get rid of the flying scenes, that just proves to me that executive's soul was dead.
Oh.
He was dead inside.
No romanticism.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about that? We're on the precipice of a new Avatar film. We got the original coming back out, and James Cameron's telling stories about when he said, oh, thanks for those notes. I got to put them right up here on the fridge where everybody can see them, but I'm not going to do anything with them. What do you guys think about that? Jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, MeUndies. Now, guys, we've all heard of gut instinct, but have you ever heard of butt instinct? It's when your butt tells you it wants new undies. Listen to your butt. Luckily for you, we work with MeUndies, makers of the most buttery soft and sustainable undies, bralettes, and socks that exist. Guys, for too long, I lived my life wearing those Amazon or Walmart 20-pack cheap underwear that I thought were just fine until I tried MeUndies. Now it's like my nether regions are in a Palm Springs resort. So guys, let your skin sing a song of joy with undies, socks, and bralettes that feel as if they're spun from silken clouds. Guaranteed to be the softest stuff you've ever felt in your life, their signature micromodal fabric is sustainable, breathable, and stretchy as heck. Available in sizes extra small to 4XL, they have new colors and prints dropping weekly, so there's always something exciting to check out. Try out their free-to-join membership for free shipping on every order and exclusive perks, like an item shipped to your door every month, secret sales, and early access to their newest stuff. MeUndies has a great offer for all John Campea Show viewers and listeners. For any first-time purchaser, you get 20% off, plus free shipping and returns. To get 20% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/Campea. That's MeUndies.com/Campea.